Hello, broadcasters. Again, my name is John Tack, and I, as Gary just mentioned, was an automobile dealer in Southern Florida for 32 years. And I am going to show you today some very effective ways of getting dealers back on the air, television and radio, getting them focused on market share and increasing their volume. The number one thing we all have to remember is we've gone through a little bit of tough time with COVID. This has not been easy, but I am telling you now, and so is Patrick Manzi, the chief economist for NADA, that we are getting back to huge volumes of business. And I can tell you, in talking with all of my dealer friends around the country, that the manufacturers are pressuring these dealers to get back advertising and fighting for market share. Before we start talking about that, though, I want to just take a little bit of a turn and talk to you about, and this is going to pop up 3 or 4 times during this presentation. The other day, Paul Whalen, who is a contributor for LBS, brilliant guy, did a presentation about what do you say when your prospective client says, I tried it and it didn't work. What do you do when they say that? Well, I was over in Tampa, Florida, back about a week and a half ago, and I had a dealer say exactly that to me. Pre-COVID, I was trying it and trying it and trying it, and it didn't work. I wasted a fortune. Ladies and gentlemen, the answer to that, when a dealer says that to you, a franchise dealer, or for that matter, an independent, a used car dealer says that to you, it is for one reason and one reason only. The creative was not compelling. They didn't say something in the ad that absolutely took control of that customer and drove them either to the dealership or to the website. It would compel them to get there. And the only thing that's going to do that is a message of price and selection. Price and selection. So if a dealer says to you, I tried it and it didn't work, you need to have already reviewed or found out what it was, what he was saying, what that dealer was saying the last time they were on broadcast television or broadcast radio. What did they say? And if they said something like, we're family owned and operated, please come and see us, of course it didn't work. Ladies and gentlemen, it has been proven over and over again, and I'm going to show you some examples of it today, that the number one thing you can do if you're a dealer is advertise some price, some payment, a zero interest rate program that is going to compel that prospective car buyer to come to your dealership. We're going to talk about that in great detail today. New vehicle demand remains elevated. The worst of the chip shortage is behind us, and vehicle production is set to increase. New vehicle sales are expected to increase in 2023. I think Patrick Manzi, the chief economist for NADA, understated that. There's a lot of people out there, a lot of analysts out there who think that auto sales in 2023 is going to boom. The manufacturers certainly think that, and the pressure is on to get these dealers back to pushing the product. The last quarter of this year, of 2022, saw a significant increase in advertising. A bunch of it was manufacturers advertising, tier 1, and those local advertising associations, tier 2 advertising, right? Many of you account executives out there don't have anything to do with tier 2 advertising, and certainly not the manufacturer's advertising that might be on your television station or your radio station. But what this indicates is that the manufacturers are dialing it up. Remember that the manufacturers pretty much control the tier 2 advertising association money. They're dialing it up because they know that this volume's coming back. And what drives the manufacturer is nothing but volume. It's all about market share for them. And so we know that they're starting to crank it up. When they crank it up, the representatives for those manufacturers are going to their dealer and saying, hey, time for you to get back in the game. Let's go. I'm expecting you, Mr. Dealer, to advertise this product, this payment, this selection message. I'm expecting you to do something, not just the manufacturer and tier 2. Tier 2 and the manufacturer's advertising can only go so far. The dealer is the one that really, really drives this whole thing. Don't let a dealer tell you that he's not going to advertise because business isn't any good. Baloney. There may be a few dealers out there who are experiencing a tough time, but the vast majority of them have been more profitable than ever before. I'm going to show you some of that. So just remember, if a dealer says to you, oh, I don't want to do it, I can't do any radio, I can't do any television, I just don't have the money to do it, I'm struggling. That's an excuse. That is an excuse. Hey, Mr. Dealer, I can help you out of this struggle. I can help you gain market share. I can help you gain volume. And we're going to give you some examples of dealers who are really cranking it right now and are on broadcast television, are on broadcast radio. By the way, if you can quote NADA to a dealer, remember to do so. This, one, gives you credibility. NADA, National Automobile Dealers Association, NADA is the absolute benchmark for real, pure, accurate data for all franchise dealers in the United States. You quote NADA, the dealer will know, you know what you're talking about, and he will accept what NADA has to say. They are, without a doubt, the people that dealers look to for data. So this is some data. These are the numbers of how much more money dealers made in 2021 versus 2020. Now, 2020 was a very bad year. So naturally, these numbers were a huge boost. Profits were up 136%. New vehicle total sales were up 24.1. Now keep in mind, that 24.1% is dollar volume, not unit volume. Units were down, but dollars were up because the price of the vehicles went up dramatically. The same on the used side. Retail used vehicle total sales dollars were up 29%. But, and here's a biggie, advertising expense, the billions and billions, around $8 billion that dealers take out of their pockets and spend on advertising every year, was up 7.9%. Now, for 2022, and by the way, you'll notice at the top of this page, the NADA data here is estimated. That's because the pure data, the absolute data, doesn't come out until a little later in the spring. Right now, NADA is pulling this data all together and publishing these national numbers. They normally come out first couple weeks of April. So, but these are estimates that I got from NADA, and they're probably pretty much on. So, last year, dealer profits went up 136%. This year, they're up in 2022, they're up another 28%. New vehicle total sales up 31%. Catch this one. Used vehicle total sales dollars up 38%. The used vehicle business is booming. And advertising expense up 11%. Now, granted, a good amount of this advertising expense was in digital, but you all must understand that you cannot fight against digital advertising. You must become a part of digital advertising. You must be the people that enhance the digital side of a dealer's business. We're going to talk about that a little later. Remember this, very important. Public transportation in this country is not that good. You want to get from point A to point B, you got to have a vehicle. There are 290 million of them riding around the roads of the United States. They wear out. They get wrecked. Somebody runs one into a tree. They've got to be replaced. How does that happen? It happens by either those people buying a new one, or what's happened lately, because the value of new cars has increased, the price has increased so dramatically, there's a lot of people that would have normally considered a new one that are now buying a used one. And so, one of the great areas where you need to talk to your local dealer, franchise dealer, but also the independent dealer, that is the guy that doesn't have a franchise, you know, John Tack and Son Used Cars on the corner, that guy, they are absolutely important prospective customers for broadcasters. So keep that in mind. 2022, the last quarter, and the first couple months of this year, used vehicle prices have continued to moderate. They are dropping. They're coming back down. Why? A few reasons. One, new vehicle prices have come down a little bit, and new vehicle volume has picked up. So, dealers are looking at their used inventories and, hey, figuring out if they're going to turn that inventory, they've got to maybe modify those prices a little bit. And that is happening. So there's a message there. There is a message there. You know, XYZ Chevrolet has reduced the value of its used car inventory. You can now buy a used Chevy Silverado for $189 a month, whatever that number is. And off you go. So there's a message here, and you need to take hold of this message, this used vehicle sales message, and let's make sure we're talking to our local dealers about it. Keep in mind that that 289 million vehicles out there, the average age is over 12 years old. Ride around whatever town you're in. I don't care where you are. And take a look at the vehicles riding up and down the streets, and you're going to see a whole bunch of them that are really, really old. As a matter of fact, 25% of them are over 16 years old. How do we know this? We know this because every state in the country sells registrations, right? License plates. Those registrations have the description of the car and what year the car was built. We get that registration data from every state in the country, and we absolutely know that 25% of the vehicles that have a license plate on them are at least 16 years old. That means there's 71 million really old vehicles on the streets of this country. And over the last few years, because of that COVID slowdown, that number's gotten bigger. It's gotten big. That 71 is way higher than it used to be. So what we need to do is have some confidence when we talk to those dealers, have some confidence that there is absolutely an opportunity for that dealer to gain market share by being on your television station and your radio station. Again, plenty of pent-up demand. When you go and talk to a new vehicle dealer, one of the things you must ask them right off the bat is, how are you doing, Mr. Dealer, with certified pre-owned vehicles? What is a certified pre-owned vehicle? That's a vehicle that came back to the dealership. It's a late model vehicle. Typically, they come off lease, but it doesn't have to be off lease. And the dealer puts it through a factory authorized reconditioning system. When it comes out of there, the dealer applies to the manufacturer for certification. The dealer reviews, the manufacturer reviews what the dealer did to recondition the vehicle and certifies them. What that means is that vehicle will have an additional warranty added to it that is not exactly the same as a new vehicle warranty, but pretty darn close, and will also be eligible for all kinds of different factory programs. Most importantly, typically a low interest rate program on that used vehicle, hence driving down the price, driving down the monthly payment. Everybody out there who buys a car buys one based on a monthly payment that they can afford or a price that they're comfortable with. That's it. And of course, they found the one they wanted. Price selection, price selection. Back to that compelling piece of automotive creative. It better always have a piece of a price element, a payment element, and then a selection message. I've got a whole bunch of them to choose from. So these certified pre-owned vehicles have become really important to the dealers. Make sure you talk about that. I promise you, there's a bunch of other people out there calling on dealers trying to sell them advertising. The guys selling advertising on those bus benches who doesn't know to talk about this. Why? Because they're not subscribers to LBS. They haven't heard about it. You have. Remember, this is important information for you. The dealers could very easily sell 5 million of these this year. Maybe not, but it doesn't matter. It's a bunch. And they're very profitable pieces of machinery. When they sell one, they make a nice profit on these certified pre-owned vehicles, these CPO vehicles. So again, one of the tips that you should take to every dealer you call on is mention certified pre-owned vehicles. Hey, Mr. Dealer, if you've got a bunch of these certified pre-owns in inventory, I can certainly help you sell them because we've got a message here. We got a message about they're certified, they're guaranteed, we got a great interest rate on them. Here's the monthly payment. Boom. You almost get a new vehicle warranty, but not a new vehicle price. I've had account executives across the country ask me this question. I got a bunch of independent dealers in my town, in my city. These are the people that don't have a franchise. And by the way, let me tell you that in every city, every town in America, there is an independent dealer who is as successful as any of the franchise dealers in that town, without a doubt. Some of these people are exceptionally profitable. They have great businesses. You need to make sure to call. If you don't have an independent dealer on your television station or on your radio station, you are making a huge mistake. If you happen to be a radio station that is a Spanish speaking station, you're crazy not to have a couple of independent dealers on your station. Those people, it is one of the great pieces that you should be taking advantage of, this independent dealer group. I have people ask me all the time, well, which of these independent dealers is somebody that I should call on? Which one is the best one to call on? And the answer is, on a Sunday when they're closed, early in the morning, sometime, go by and count the inventory on the dealers, on that independent dealer's lot, or for that matter, a franchise dealer's organization. If you've got a dealer that's got 100 vehicles on his lot, an independent dealer, and there's 100 vehicles on his lot, divide whatever that number is, 100 by 2. That's 50. That independent dealer will typically sell 50 vehicles a month. They'll normally spend somewhere in the neighborhood of $350 to $400 a piece in marketing and advertising. That's a national number I'm going to show you in a minute. Let's call it $400. He sells 50. 50 times 400 is 20,000. That's a prospect for you. Keep that in mind. If you go to an independent dealer and he's got 20 cars on his lot, divide that number by 2, it's only 10. No. He's probably not a good prospect for you. This is a really good tip so that you're not wasting your time on the really super little guy. Please remember also, when you walk into a franchise dealership, make sure to talk about rebates, dealer cash, and interest rate deals. Mr. Dealer, what kind of rebates you got going on right now? Do you have any dealer cash programs? What kind of interest rate deals are there? These are the things, Mr. Dealer, we can talk about on air that are going to drive people either physically to your dealership or virtually to your website. You got to ask the dealer about them. The only way you're going to find out is by asking, because some of these rebate, dealer cash, and interest rate programs are regional. They're not national programs. Some are, but some are not. You need to find that out, so ask the question. For 2022, here were the people that had a really good year in terms of market share. Mercedes was up 4%. You go to a Mercedes dealer, they are having a hot hand, even in 2022. 2021, they had a great year in 2021. Hey, Mr. Mercedes dealer, let me help you keep this ball rolling. Hyundai Kia, over the last few years, they have been the hottest franchise in the United States. Why? They sell great vehicles and they're priced well under Toyota, Nissan, Honda. They're their key competitors. Now, they were even for 2022. Hey, Mr. Local Hyundai Kia dealer, let me help you get back to your former glory. You got plenty to talk about. You've got vehicles that you can sell for way less than that Toyota Corolla. Let's talk about it. Let's howl at the moon. General Motors was even for 2022. They actually had a pretty good year. Your Chevy dealer, Go and talk to those people. If you're in a rural area where there's a GMC dealer, you got to talk to them. GMC trucks are doing very, very well. The Chevy Silverado is doing well. Ford, they lost market share. 2.3% is a lot. They lost market share. Ford Motor Company is going crazy over this. The reason is that Ford, the manufacturer, Ford Motor Company, their profitability is based on only one thing: volume. Volume. They make money when that vehicle rolls out of the assembly plant on its way to a dealer. That's when they make their money. If it doesn't roll out of that assembly plant, they're not making any money. And I can tell you, they didn't make any money in 2022, and they're nuts about it. They are pressuring their dealers. So you got to go to the Ford dealer and say, Mr. Dealer, let me help you regain that market share. Let's talk about market share. And I'm going to tell you exactly where at the Ford dealer you need to be. Most of you probably know it. It's pickup trucks. Toyota took a huge whipping in 2022. They are ripe for the picking. Toyota dealers are not going to stand for a 10.8% reduction in market share. The same with Stellantis Ram, the Dodge Ram dealers. They were on a roll for years and years and years here lately. They actually, Ram pickup actually for the first time in history outsold Chevrolet Silverado. They didn't do it in 2022, and that was because Chevrolet wasn't going to stand for it too much longer. And what did they do? They increased their 0% interest programs. They reduced some prices. They fought hard to get back their market share, and it was all in pickup trucks. So you got to go to the Ram dealer and say, hey, you guys had some great glory here a few years ago. Let's get it back. Let's talk about the value of Ram pickup trucks. Here it is. Ford F-Series, minus 9.9% over 2021. I'm sorry, over 2021. These are the 2022 numbers. 9.9% decrease in Ford F-Series. Ford Motor Company and Ford dealers make a whole bunch of money on these pickups. Now, 653,000 still is the largest single model of vehicle sold in this country by far. But look what happened. Chevy Silverado, they were down 1.6%, but whoa, they beat Dodge Ram. And remember, the year before, Dodge Ram was ahead of Silverado. So what happened was that Chevy Silverado recalibrated what they were doing. And as we move into 2023, Chevy Silverado is going to be screaming. And again, what General Motors is doing is pushing their Chevy dealers to advertise locally that Chevy Silverado pickup. Now, a 17% decrease by Dodge Ram is tragic. Unbelievable mess. Here again, let's talk about the wonderful, wonderful job Chevy Silverado did, and then let's talk about regaining our former glory with Dodge Ram. When we talk about Ford F-Series, it's the place where dealers make the most money. There is you do a compelling piece of advertising for your local Ford dealer, it might very well revolve around you can drive a new F-Series pickup for $289 a month. There's some dealers in the country that are doing exactly that. $289 a month for a Ford F-Series pickup? Are you kidding me? That's a piece of compelling advertising. That's going to drive people to that dealer's showroom or to that dealer's website. Keep this in mind, broadcasters. This is where you gotta go. The luxury brands, same deal here. BMW down 1.5%. They're pushing back hard. Mercedes down 4%. But look at Lexus. Call on your local Lexus dealer. There was a time for a 10-year period when Lexus was the #1 volume luxury vehicle in the United States. It isn't close anymore. They've got to get back as well. A lot of people today are talking about these online services, Vroom, all of those people. One of the things you might want to suggest to your dealer is this comes from McKinsey & Company. These people are consultants for the automobile industry at the manufacturer's level and at the dealer level, and they've done a lot of research on this subject. Dealers still have an enormous amount of advantage, and this is why. I want to be able to test drive multiple vehicles. You know, if you want to plop something like this into the ad, along with price and selection, these are a couple of things that you might want to talk about in a piece of creative. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, you can test drive a whole bunch of different vehicles down at XYZ Motors, and you can get that new F-Series pickup. You can drive that pickup, that brand new F-Series, for $289 a month. Wow. 0% for 60 months. I do this slide every time I do one of these presentations because it might be the most important thing for you broadcasters to remember. CPVR, cost per vehicle retail. Every dealer in this country measures their effectiveness on a cost per vehicle retail basis. Rent on a per vehicle retail basis. My electric bill on a per vehicle retail basis. Commissions. What are my commissions on a per vehicle retail basis? Everything they do, they absolutely measure it based on the number of vehicles they sell. So, dealer A spends $50,000 a month in advertising, sells 100 units. 100 divided into 50,000 is $500 per vehicle retail, cost per vehicle retail. Dealer B spends $50,000 and he sells 125 vehicles on a particular month. 125 divided into 50,000 is $400 per vehicle retail. You could argue that dealer B spent his $50,000 more effectively than dealer A. That may or may not be exactly true. Dealer B could have better salespeople and better sales managers, and dealer A has a bunch of sales managers that couldn't close a damn screen door. But dealer B made better use of whatever traffic he had. However, same dealer, dealer A in June, dealer A in July, same numbers. Dealer A in June spent $50,000, sold 100 vehicles, $500 per vehicle retail. Dealer A, same dealer, in July, spent the same money, sold 125, $400 per vehicle retail. But in July, he bought advertising on your television station, on your radio station. He bought some broadcast advertising. Now, broadcasters, you can argue you spent your money more efficiently. For sure. I see this everywhere I go. When I talk to dealers, if they're spending their money on stupid stuff, their cost per vehicle retail is shockingly high. They're not spending their money efficiently. Here is the historical national number for franchise dealers. Notice that this number, 386, 392, 385, 390, 394, call it $400 per vehicle retail. This is how much franchise dealers new and used vehicles combined, spend per vehicle retail. Yet I know dealers around the country who are spending $700, $800, $900 per vehicle retail, and they think that that's normal. It's not. It's stupid. So one of the things you should discuss with your dealer when you walk in the door, if it's somebody you're trying to capture, ask them, Mr. Dealer, what is your cost per vehicle retail for advertising and marketing? Now, they may not tell you. They may not want to tell you. They may tell you. And if they blurt out a number like $700, $800, $900 a car, you got a prospect. Mr. Dealer, I have a way to help you drive down your cost per vehicle retail. That is a way better message than, Mr. Dealer, I want to sell you some time. I want to sell you some advertising. No, 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 no. Mr. Dealer, I want to help you drive down your cost per vehicle retail. Are you spending more than $400 a car? Bingo. And let's talk about it. I can promise you, there's dealers out there who are spending money on stupid stuff that's driving up their cost per vehicle retail. Any of you out there have a dealer in your part of the world that has one of these on his lot? Sure. How many cars is this dealer selling because of the damn purple gorilla? If you have a dealer in your neck of the woods that has one of these on his lot, and by the way, if you rent one of these in a lot of marketplaces around the country, renting one of these costs you $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 a month. You mean to tell me that you can't take that $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 and spend it on one of the great radio stations in your town or on a television station and get a better bang for your buck? Of course you can.